So also on top of that, March 20th, 2023, you were charged with the disorderly conduct with the criminal trespass. You just spoke about that. All right. So according to a Savannah police report, at the age of 26 years old, you were running for a District 3 seat in Savannah.
Yes, sir.
After trying to get campaign signs back from the city code enforcement vehicle, you were criminally charged. The report says the officer was picking up Malik Jones' campaign signs that were blocking the right-of-way along the road near East Gwinnett Street and Long Ave. It was then that Jones says he confronted the officer about why she was removing the signs. Quote, "I attempted to get some of my signs. I was allowed to get 2 of them, but before I could even get those 2, the code compliance officer drove off," said Jones. The police report goes on to say that the officer explained what she was doing before driving away. The officer says Jones chased her down the street and pulled in front of her. The report says Jones jumped in the back of the truck and started throwing signs out the back. Quote, "I had no choice but to climb in the back of a truck because I was going to go on the ground and I probably would have hurt myself. At the time, I did not know the city ordinance policies and procedures for putting out signs," said Jones. According to the city of Savannah, only people who have been convicted of a felony involving a moral turpitude of violating election laws are not eligible to run for city posts. Because these charges are misdemeanors, Jones was still able to run. You want to add on to that and tell what happened?
So I would say this. I beat the case. The case was non-pros. Nobody came back and ran the story. I'll start off by saying that. But this particular day, I was actually in the community passing out my door hangers, and I had just left some constituents. They literally just told me, she said, "Do not let Linda Wilder Bryan trick you or get you to act out of character." And as I was turning the corner, I was coming to my property, and I had 2 signs on my property, and my signs were removed off of my property. And I saw the code compliance officer in the area, and she had signs in the back of her truck. And I asked her why was she moving signs. She said signs cannot be on the right of way. When she said signs couldn't be on the right of way, I said, okay. And I said, "Ma'am, I think you have some of my signs in the back of your truck." I was able to peek my head over her truck, and I saw 3 of my signs, which I was able to remove. By the time I was able to try to go through the rest of them, she pulled off and went to leave. I went to my house, which she was right by my house, got in my car, and I drove down the street after her. She pulled to the left. I continued to go. I was trying to turn around to get out of my car to talk to her. And so as she was coming towards me, I got out of my car and I was telling her like, "Hey, I still have signs back here." And as I was standing with 1 foot on the back of the thing to show her, she actually pulled off. So because of where I was, I made sure that I just moved forward because I didn't want to fall off into the back of the police truck, into the back of the code compliance truck. But what's funny about this is I didn't know this, and it's on my YouTube channel that when I got body cam footage that the officer asked him, "Was those my signs?" who I was. If you look at the body cam footage, those were actually my signs, and there was 3 on the ground. And the guy told the supervisor he didn't know whose signs they were, and that I just was upset because of my signs not being properly placed. Well, the sergeant asked him what was my name, who I was connected to, and that he would give him a call back, and that he said that the lieutenant told them to charge me with the criminal trespass. So originally I was going to only be charged with the disorderly conduct, but the lieutenant and the sergeant saw fit for me to be charged with disorderly conduct. And I asked that supervisor to come out to the scene and ask him not to charge me with that because if anything, it was a civil issue and that it could hurt and affect my campaign. And lo and behold, it did. But I also want to shout out Director Knight of the City of Savannah Code Compliance because I did get in contact with her before the police actually left the scene. She apologized and said that I should have been given my signs back and given the opportunity to fix it because I was right there on the scene. And it was also some policies and things that went into place doing that. And anytime that you run for city council on the City of Savannah Code Compliance page, you will see the proper way to post the code compliance signs. So as I said in the interview, I take responsibility for where I'm wrong. I just want other people in position to take responsibility when they're wrong. And we were definitely able to get down to the bottom of that Director Knight. And again, the charges were dismissed and nobody reran the story on that. And I assured the people doing the interview that the charges will be dismissed, and they did that.
Okay, bet. So all the charges were dismissed.
Yes, so they were.
Okay. How did you win the seat?
So I actually, because of personal issues and how things were going, I actually stopped. I just stopped pursuing that seat at the time. I had a daughter. My fiance, she was high risk, And I just had to take some time back, and I saw what they tried to do to me publicly. My oldest daughter, which is 10 now, she saw the interview. Her teacher saw it, and she was just like, Dad, my teacher saw your interview. And she was like, my teacher said you'd be president one day. And it was funny because when I graduated high school, my daughter was in my hand, and I really started posting a picture telling people way before this that I'll be the first president, born and raised in Savannah, Georgia. And my daughter, who told me that, she was in my arm. And there's a lot of motivation. My kids are my motivation. But I had to take that time to really process a lot of things and be there for my family.
Yeah.